Green Army trucks are rumbling across the cobbled streets of Brussels. Stiff-spined soldiers are patrolling the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Italian troops are guarding the Colosseum. And critics say the years-long deployments at home are sapping the ability of these militaries to fight wars. Taken together, the domestic deployments to guard against terrorism are among the largest in Western Europe since World War II. They come as European militaries are tapped to address an unusually wide range of challenges at once: a resurgent Russia, grinding conflicts in the Middle East, migration across the Mediterranean, and smaller wartime deployments far from their borders. Confronted by terrorism, European leaders rushed their armies onto their streets in the aftermath of attacks starting in 2015. Although advocates say the deployments help bolster security, the peacetime duty has stretched forces thin. Until recently, 40% of Belgium's fight-ready soldiers were devoted to domestic guard duty. Some officers worry that the lack of time to practice warfare means basic skills are getting rusty. In France, the former leader of the military said last month that he quit in July in part to protest that his forces were overheating. President Trump has pressed NATO allies to commit more toward their own defense and to international missions, but the domestic deployments have made that a challenge. The latest sign came last month at a meeting of defense chiefs in Brussels, when the alliance fell short on pledges toward the NATO training operation in Afghanistan. In Belgium, a country of 11 million people, military leaders say their troops are feeling the strain. I had machine gunners with the rifle section who didn't fire a machine gun in 16 months because they had become riflemen, said Maj. General Mark Thies, commander of Belgium's land forces. It's like asking our national team that hasn't played a game of soccer all year to go to the World Championships. It doesn't work. Until October 1st, 250 Belgian soldiers were deployed across the country, guarding grand boulevards, train stations, and other crowded public places that make tempting targets. The intention was to increase public safety and to give police officers more freedom to do investigative work rather than tie them up on guard duty. NY terrorist attack revives calls for more security to protect pedestrians, cyclists. The domestic deployments came as European nations struggled to find a way to protect themselves against attacks in a new era of terrorism strategies. Some recent Islamic State-inspired strikes used explosives and required large networks that could be disrupted through aggressive counterterrorism work, but other attacks were as simple as renting a truck and plowing it into a crowd. Proponents of the military approach say that such attacks can be prevented by quick-thinking soldiers. They point to June's attempted attack in the Brussels Central Railway Station, where soldiers patrolling the platforms shot dead a suspected bomber after he set off a small explosive that failed to hurt anyone. We weren't ready for the threats that we were facing, Belgian Defense Minister Steven van Deppet said about the aftermath of the 2015 terrorist attacks in Paris.